This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live from the Growth Capital Expo at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas 2016. This is a Wall Street view with Robert Cook of the CSE, the Canadian Securities Exchange. Rob, welcome to SNN Live.
Thank you very much, Shelley. It's great to be here.
It's good to have you. I've seen you all week at the conference. You've been a busy man. You had several of your members at the conference. They seemed very busy. But let's start off talking about the CSE. Give us an overview, if you would.
Yeah, the CSE is a Canadian stock exchange called the Canadian Securities Exchange, and we are the newest entrant in the marketplace, and we compete with the bigger stock exchanges in Canada very successfully. Most of our companies are in the small cap or microcap space, if you measure it on market capitalization, but they're the new and up-and-coming companies. So we've had very good growth over the past 10 years. We started with very, very few companies. Now we've got over 300. So things are going very well for us.
So the growth in the public markets in Canada or the U.S. is shown by new members of your exchange. Am I correct?
Yes, it is. In fact, in total, there aren't more public companies in Canada today than there were 5 years ago. But there's certainly more on our stock exchange. So we've been growing at a very good rate.
So, indicatively, so a U.S. company can list on the CSE, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we can list foreign companies.
So the benefit of a company listing on the CSE over other Canadian, exchanges is what?
Well, we're actually less expensive. We're less expensive in two ways. We have a flat fee schedule, so the companies don't pay us for filings. They don't pay us when they raise money. We don't get a piece of that. We charge them $12,500 Canadian to list, and thereafter we charge them $500 a month. No matter how active they are or how big they are, everybody pays the same low fee. The other way we make it less expensive for them is we have what we call a streamlined regulation program, where we focus on disclosure rather than having exchange staff review transactions. That saves the company time and money and allows them to focus on their business, and that's to the benefit of their shareholders.
So now we're sitting in the U.S., we're in Las Vegas,
Yes.
and an investor wants to buy shares of a CSE-listed company. What is the procedure? Is it just go to your broker and buy shares?
Well, that's essentially the procedure. Not every broker in the United States is familiar with the CSE, but they can trade in our marketplace through a correspondent relationship with a Canadian dealer, like they would if they were trading on the TSX or the Toronto Stock Exchange, because all of the Canadian investment dealers are connected to the CSE.
So now that you're doing this interview on SNN,
Yeah.
everybody in the U.S. will know about the CSE, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very good. and after this, I'll go on the Tonight Show.
But in reality, let's talk about something that I think is a trend.
Okay.
And I think the trend is for companies to list on the CSE to save money in reality. But also what I've noticed is many of them are both listed on the CSE and on the OTC. So let's discuss that relationship.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Probably the simplest way to access the U.S. market and the least expensive is to go public in Canada, list on the CSE, and then become a foreign filer in the United States and get a quotation on an over-the-counter market such as the OTCQB or the OTCQX, and many of our companies have done that. Many of our companies are also duly listed in Germany on the Frankfurt exchange, but more of them seek a market south of the border to make it easier for U.S. residents to trade their securities. So if they can't get their broker to connect to our marketplace, they can do a trade in the United States, and there are market makers out there that keep those two markets in line, that are used to trading across the border.
So it's not an unusually large arbitrage, so to speak?
No, it's not. The the arbitrageurs, we usually just call them the ARBs, and they're the ones that keep it in line.
So, as your growth expectations continue, where do you see your new listings coming from?
Well, we see them coming from all over. We only recently started to reach out internationally, and we have some people that are in Asia acting on our behalf, letting people there know about our exchange. We've recently done a lot more engaging in the United States. Your Growth Capital Expo is just one example of that. So we're reaching out to more people to let them know that we exist, that we're available to foreign companies. And we've had quite a few, and some of them have been American. One of the most successful stories on our exchange was an American company that raised $100 million through private placements after they were listed on the CSE.
So, for more information about the CSE, let's get your website out there.
Okay, it's thecsc.com, as in THECSE.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, thank you so much for sponsoring the event and recommending members of your exchange to come to the conference.
Well, we're very pleased to be here, and we had 4 listed companies here, and I've talked to so far 3 of them, and they're very pleased to be here.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Cook of the CSE, Canadian Securities Exchange. This Wall Street View was conducted at the Growth Capital Expo at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, 2016. Thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure.